Shalom, family. This is Brother Eliah, and I'm speaking to you with a very heavy heart today. I have to share some very unpleasant truths that will shatter many of your comfortable views about your spiritual leaders. Malcolm Norwood has recently brought forth some very alarming accusations against Hulda Daweed, and while I cannot verify all of her accusations, I do wish to join my voice to hers in calling for scrutiny of the leadership of the ARK. So, as I just mentioned, I do have some unsettling things that I need to share regarding what I've seen as a former member of the ARK and of the character of its leadership, specifically that of Hulda and Yoshiyahu Daweed. So, without further ado, let's get into it. As always, study the word for yourself and walk in the light of its truth. No mere man holds the key to the kingdom, and you must always remember that. As we begin our discussion, let's recall the words of the prophet Jeremiah in chapter 17, verses 5 through 8. Thus saith Yahuwah, Cursed be the man that trusteth in man and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from Yahuwah. For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land and not inhabited. Blessed is the man that trusteth in Yahuwah, and whose hope Yahuwah is. For he shall be as the tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. Trust in Yah. Do not put your faith in men. They'll let you down every time. Even King David was a murderer and an adulterer. Let Yah be the pillar of your faith, and you will remain unshaken, even as false prophets and teachers are torn down before your very eyes. So I've got a story to tell you. Let's start at the beginning. I met Yoshiyahu in person at the Passover in 2017, about 2 years ago, and I resolved at that time in my heart to relocate to Fresno and join the group of Hebrews gathering here. At that time, I was unemployed and I was seeking to transition into teaching from a career in sales. Now, by August of 2017, I actually found myself in a homeless shelter. I was by then working as a substitute teacher from that same homeless shelter. I was also making YouTube videos. And Yoshiyahu saw one of them and wished for me to come to Sukkot to assist him in ministry by teaching. I informed him of my homeless situation, and he very kindly offered me the opportunity to stay in an old trailer on his property while I was getting my financial life back together. I took him up on his offer and I moved up to Fresno. I lived on his property for about 6 months, and during that time, I became a substitute teacher with the local school district, and I worked with him in cleaning up his property and assisting in ministry. I've had the pleasure of presenting the sermon at the ARK twice, as well as leading a number of Bible studies, and I actually took charge for a time over teaching the young children. And you can see some of those sermons right here on my channel. One of them is called Proven by Prophecy. Another one is called The Light of the World. Now, Hulda actually showed me the path to become a substitute teacher. She also introduced me to Hadara, who is now my wife. The two of them have done good things for me. But good deeds do not excuse us from the obligation to keep Torah. Period. I left the ARK about the same time that I moved off of Yoshiyahu's property, right around March 30th of 2018. Last Passover, in fact. Why? Well, because Hulda and Yoshiyahu's marriage was in shambles. There was a divorce filing in process, and I'd had enough of the drama. I left. It's been a year since I've left the ARK. I'm now married, I'm a full-time teacher, and I work a second job as a delivery driver. My life is peaceful, I'm happy, and I continue to serve the kingdom by teaching and baptizing believers. So why am I coming forth to share my concerns now? Simple. See, I'm one of those silent witnesses that Malcolm mentioned in her video. And again, I don't know for certain if Malka is indeed being led of the Ruach, but I sincerely believe that now is the time for me to come forth and share what I know. I'd like to begin this part of our discussion by sharing an email conversation that I had with a brother named Khalil. This was sent to me back in September of 2018. Shalom, ARK. I wanted to reach out to you regarding your last lesson on scriptural leadership. First off, congratulations on your marriage. May Yah bless your union as you two embark on your journey together. I appreciate your lessons and pretty much hold the same beliefs as you. Me and my wife came out to Fresno in 2016 to fellowship at the ARK, and we got baptized during Passover. I don't recall meeting you out there, but we subscribed to your channel shortly after seeing you teach at the ARK. Fast forward to 2018. We don't subscribe to the ARK anymore. We are wondering, do you still fellowship there? Your lesson on scriptural leadership raised some questions while we were watching. For example, one of the many reasons that we stopped watching Yoshiyahu's teaching was because of Yoshiyahu's push for tithes as money, and you pointed out that issue in your lesson. Just wanted to know where you stand with the ARK, as I have more information to share with you. Khalil. Here's my response. Shalom, Khalil. I no longer fellowship with the ARK for many reasons, one of which being the one that you mentioned. I now fellowship with a small group of Akim who also left the ARK. Thanks for reaching out. May Yah bless you. Shalom, disciple of Yeshua. Thanks for your response, and I'm sorry for the delay in my responding. We are very happy that you got out and see the reality of the situation. After doing some research, we found out that Marvin and Marika, that's Yoshiyahu and Hulda's government name, we found out that Marvin and Marika had a big lawsuit for embezzlement, all while being quote unquote in the truth, which showed us why they were so big on tithes. No different from Creflo. That's why I had to initially ask if you still fellowship with them, and after hearing your message on scriptural leadership. Because if you did, after hearing that message, man, my head would have spun a 360. All right, so I'll stop reading there. Now, that big lawsuit for embezzlement that he was discussing, well, here's the receipts on that. See, Hulda and Yoshiyahu, named here as Marvin and Marika Davis, were found liable in civil court for fiduciary fraud, embezzlement, that's taking corporate funds for personal use, larceny, fancy word for theft, false pretenses, and false representation. They were hit with a punitive judgment for $100,000 each, which cannot be discharged in bankruptcy. That's what that fancy legalese is about. The little thing that looks like a dollar sign followed by 523A, blah, blah, blah. What that's basically saying is that these punitive charges are not dischargeable through bankruptcy. This is what that's proof of. Now, I've attached a link to this information in the description box below. Now, you can look into the case for yourselves. It's public information. Their legal names appear in the parties tab. All right. Yoshiyahu again is named as Marvin Davis, and Hulda is named as Marika Davis. This all occurred while they were supposedly walking in Torah. This demands scrutiny. We have to look at the character of the people who are leading us, especially if they're going around constantly demanding money. Now let's take this one step further. As I mentioned, Hulda was in the process of filing for a divorce against her husband in 2018, not too long ago. What you don't know is that she used ministry funds to file for that divorce. Okay? Here is her admitting as much in a text message to me. Now, Hulda knows this text to be true. Its existence may be part of the reason that she recently changed her phone number. See, she stole money from her own husband that was donated by the nation to aid them in ministry. See, this is a great crime and one that no one else has brought forth except Malka. She mentioned the witnesses that have the proof of this. Well, here I am, and I'm presenting the receipts. I finally decided to break my silence after reaching out to Huldah and Yoshiyahu on a number of occasions seeking an audience. I've had enough of all the silly games, all the back and forth and postponing meetings. I don't know what kind of games are being played, but I've now come to the conclusion that it's time for me to simply present the evidence to the nation. So, what's the conclusion of the matter? All right. Well, you see, the Messiah spent a great deal of time criticizing the Pharisees by calling them hypocrites. The Greek definition of the origin word, which is hypokrites, is that of a play actor, that's someone who presents a false face. At this phase, we must collectively ask if we're being run amok by a couple of play actors. I'll leave you with a final bit of scripture for your consideration. 2 Peter chapter 2 verses 1 through 3. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the master that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, in their damnation slumbereth not. See, we were warned that there would be greedy, self-seeking false prophets and teachers among us in the last days. And we do need to test the spirits of those who we view as leaders, particularly when they spend a great deal of time raising funds, particularly when they have a checkered history when it comes to dealing with funds. And even as I put this out there are even more silent witnesses who have more information about financial malfeasance in the history of this ministry. But I'll let Yah speak to those silent witnesses on their own time. For now, Yah has put it on my heart to finally reveal this. I reveal this because we need to start acting in accordance with Torah, and Torah has remedies for leadership. You can check out the video I did on scriptural leadership that prompted the conversation between me and Brother Khalil if you want to understand where I'm coming from on this. But this is not intended to be a teaching video. This is a video that exposes information that needs to be known by the nation. In all this, I do have hope. What is my hope? Because I know many of you are confused, and for a lot of you, this will shatter some of your hope. Well, my hope is that we will rise as a nation and begin to form proper assemblies led by shepherds who are informed by councils of elders. We need a body that holds every member accountable, including and especially leadership. And while it may not seem like it in this moment, I do have great love for Huldah and Yoshiyahu. My open rebuke of them is better than any secret love, and I call for them to be held accountable for their actions against the assembly. Malka, you're in my prayers, as is your husband Shaul. Again, I cannot validate all of your claims, but I do call for a close scrutiny of the leadership of the ARK. Let Yah's will be done in this and all things. And I want the members of the Worldwide Assembly to know that there are plenty of Hebrews out here who love Yah, are fully trained as teachers and are ready to teach, baptize, and lead by example. I know many such men. My email address is in the description below. If you have need of ministry, reach out. I mean, even personally, I make myself available to speak with people in private conversations every Shabbat, and I will continue to make time moving forward to do so. Now, I work. Paul was a tent maker. That's how he met Aquila and Priscilla. I work as a teacher. I work as a delivery driver, but the Shabbat is when I do the work of Yah, and I'm here for the nation to teach. So don't feel lost. But there are people out here who are walking this out, and our focus is on walking it out, not pretending, not looking for every occasion to get money out of people. If people want to donate to me, they can, but man, I'm not here to force anyone to do anything, and I'm not here to guilt you into donating to my little ministry. I work. Yah has blessed me. Okay? I'm just here to serve Yah. I don't have any ulterior motives. Let Yah be true, but every man a liar. Shalom. And please do not let the truth shared here shake your faith. Remember always that our pillar is Yahuwah and not men. May he continue to bless you and lead you into all truth by the power of his Ruach. Again, I say shalom, family.